This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? It's a beautiful morning. Got something direct. Angel Reese, is she responsible for the growth of women's basketball? Angel Reese, is she responsible for the growth of NCAA women's basketball today? We are going to discuss that more today on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We thank you for joining. We always tell you it's my opinion, but if it turns to truth, I've given you the facts before they've happened. And today I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to give you some facts that I believe that Angel Reese is the true growth of the game of women's basketball and has a major influence and a major role in what she's capable of doing and how did it all start? Well, you got to look back at it, embracing the history of Angel Reese, and I always call it put a ring on it, and put a ring on it like Beyonce. Well, it all started LSU in March Madness, which Angel Reese went on, also won a national championship. But when I look at that and I started digging deeper and looked to see, well, who grew the women's game? Who actually brought the fans to the women's game? And who actually led the charge that has the women's game at the level it's at today, right? Because you got to know these things. And Angel Reese is the most followed WNBA player on social media, and it's bar none. All right. Angel Reese is the most followed WNBA player, NCAA women's basketball player on social media. And to look at that collectively, when you brought Angel Reese in right from the start, and we look back and say, what happened? Well, during the March Madness game, Angel Reese, I call it again, Beyonce put a ring on it, added 650,000 followers during March Madness. Now, what happened with that 650,000? And this is why it's so mission critical and very important, because I want to walk back down the line, because I listened to what people had to say, and I listened to how Angel Reese is not a basketball player. I scratched that. Angel Reese is a very, very good basketball player. Delivered you 13 and 13, which is a double double throughout the season. Also delivered consecutive 20 rebound games. That's not humanly possible, folks. And you probably won't see that again. It didn't see it in the history prior, and you didn't see it going forward. Now, back to the topic at hand. 650,000 that she actually accumulated from the March Madness, which carried right into the WNBA draft. Now, here's what you got to understand is you're not going to see another player do what Angel Reese has done. Now, today, Angel Reese has over 8 million followers on social media. 8 million followers on social media. That's an astronomical number. That number cannot be matched. That number cannot be touched. So when you look at who grew the game of women's basketball, and this is a very controversial topic, because I look at it from the standpoint that yes, women's basketball, they had the gas. They had the gas to be able to be successful. They had poured gas all the way out for 100 miles long. They had poured gas out to grow the women's game. And I'm talking about the enthusiasm that came in NCAA women's basketball, bar none. That's a great product, and they've earned it. They put the work into it. The WNBA has went on for 28 years, and they have earned sweat equity, but they have not been able to be profitable. Okay, so there was enough gas being poured in the WNBA. We were dumping kerosene all the way across 100 miles long, but guess what? We didn't have a match. We did not have a match. Angel Reese is the match that lit the fire in women's basketball. Angel Reese accumulated 650,000 followers in a day, brought that to the WNBA, and Angel Reese openly and accepted it that they're here to watch more than just one. They're also watching me. And she's correct. This is a fact that Angel Reese has done, right? Because, you got to look at it. You when you reach into the social media, and Angel Reese really is cashing in, right? Let's not only say Angel Reese has grown the women's game, Angel Reese is cashing in a lot of cash because when you reach to 1 million followers, right? You reach 1 million is when you start getting really here come the sponsors, everybody's lining up. Angel Reese is in high demand. Angel Reese is on the Chicago Sky. I mean, if you looked at the brands that Angel Reese started with and where is she at now, you got to look at this and say, this is a different role. I mean, she's got all the brand sponsors started out, Bose, Coach. You're looking at Reese's Pieces. And then you also got unapologetically Angel, where Angel Reese is now embracing the fact that she's got to be there for the younger fans, right? And when you embrace that, you got to know that, hey, I'm doing this for more than just myself. I'm a role model. And you get to it and you start saying, wow, okay, where do we go with all this? And how does it all end up? Angel Reese is the match that lit the fire to women's basketball. Without the match, none of the fire will be burning, and it's blazing right now in the women's game. But it all started with Angel Reese. And you look at the history and how the game grew. You had every landscape was covered, everything was laid out the way it should be, but then it took one sheep to be able to tend and have the match to light the fire. And when I look back at it, Angel Reese is 100% correct. They're watching me. They are watching Angel Reese. 8 million reasons is the reason why they're watching Angel Reese. And this is mission critical, because Angel Reese had to come into the game, okay, and embrace it and say, okay, I've got to have growth. I have to grow in this game. I know that I put out 13 and 13, and I have an unbelievable intangible that's inside of her. And this is a intangible of knowing when you miss a shot. A lot of players don't have it, but there's a few that play this game. When they miss a shot, they are right away, no, that shot's off. I can go get it. They have the reaction time, right? And you're talking about a player who set records, right? You want to know why are so many people following her? Angel Reese has set records in the WNBA. And if you look at it, Kathy Engelbert is really following too, because what did Kathy Engelbert do? She set up the game opening night between Chicago and Indiana. Why? Because Angel Reese has 8 million followers that she can say, watch the game. Now, here, where does that take you to the standpoint? Because most people are going to say, well, that doesn't go to attendance. It doesn't have to go to attendance. There's more people watching the game today on social media than they're watching on cord cutting TV. As I call it, cord cutting TV. What does that mean? I mean, you've got a lot of times where the media today has shifted to social media. There's more apps that show the game. So if you really dig down and get to the deeper numbers, you're going to find out every time Angel Reese plays, there's a huge following. And you can't fit 8 million people into an arena. So when you don't see the fans in the stands, that doesn't mean the fans aren't watching. They're watching tremendously. Now, what did Angel Reese do? I mean, you're coming out of there and you're the most followed, but what did she do, right? She went ahead and became an all-star. Okay, Angel Reese became an all-star. Now, Angel Reese can go to first team all WNBA because it's easier to fix a player. It's hard to get a player to go from being, okay, where you're going to be a rookie and then you're trying to move them up to be first team. Angel Reese put up numbers as if she was a first team all WNBA. Now, when it comes in consistent and she grows the game within herself, she's recognized, I am a role model. These are the things I have to do. Angel Reese will perform on and off the court. I think they've got her net worth at about a couple million. That's so far off. I wouldn't be surprised Angel Reese by end of 225 is worth over $100 million. She can get in 5 role scenes in Hollywood, and this is the difference. This is a major difference because her landscape is not just the WNBA. She has unapologetically Angel that went to 100,000 subscribers in a month. Folks, that's going to be trending to get to 10 million, 15, 20 million people. You can't stop the numbers, and the numbers are the fact that Angel Reese is the most followed person in the WNBA, which means the WNBA had the kerosene. They spread it all out. They put enough gas on the ground. They made enough trails. They made enough trenches to burn through it, but they didn't have a match. And once Angel Reese came to the table of the WNBA, and you will not have another seventh pick in the draft that will do what Angel Reese has done. And that's something you've got to understand. And when you get to 1 million, you're cashing in. Well, Angel Reese has 8 million followers. 8 million followers, folks. That's a tremendous amount. And you know, the thing of consistency, she's consistent with her social media and how she communicates with her fans. She's earned that right. She's come in and changed the game of women's basketball. Kathy Engelbert recognized it because today Kathy Engelbert is scheduled Indiana, Chicago to play on opening night, and it's going to be a packed house. And I'll tell you this, Angel Reese is going to go higher. Angel Reese will be a better basketball player. Angel Reese has skill set. And Angel Reese is more of a player that can dominate when she wants to dominate. And I think that's important because I believe Team USA is important to Angel Reese. I really do. I think she wants to be a part of that and she understands what it means. That's why she's willing to always be humble to say, hey, I was unaware that I had this many fans that I had were watching. I was unaware I had this many kids are watching. So Angel Reese awareness is there. The most followed player in the WNBA added 650,000 fans in one night. One night. That's the power and the ability. And when you look at it and you look at what Angel Reese has done, I mean, when you look at a player that gives you 3 consecutive games, 20 plus rebounds, folks, that's a lot of work. Okay, that you're not going to see that again. And you got a player that not only has the biggest following. Okay. The player that has the biggest following is the player that's moving the needle for the WNBA. The player that has the biggest following is Angel Reese. And that's bar none. You can't argue that fact. You cannot fit 8 million people into an arena. And from a social media standpoint, from her product, from her signature shoe, Angel Reese will be far exceeding the numbers that anybody has ever seen because she has a fan base that could potentially build to 100 million followers. And when you have 100 million followers and you put your product on there, you're going to sell a lot of product. So, you know what? Angel Reese is embracing the history, LSU women's basketball. Kim Mulkey has come in and has shown she belongs. Not only she belongs, she's looking and targeting being on Team USA. She's bringing 8 million today. In another 3 years, that could be 25 million. Nobody in the WNBA can touch that. It's not even close. Most followed player on social media, and you got to respect it. You got to look at the data and said, if I look at the box score on who's bringing in the most fans, Angel Reese is bringing the most fans to the WNBA. Angel Reese has brought the most fans to NCAA women's basketball. You'll never see another 7th pick do what Angel Reese has done coming out, right? And again, on that one incident, I call it Beyonce put a ring on it. 650,000 followers immediately started following Angel Reese. And you looked at it, and today, Angel Reese is sitting with 8.2 million followers. There's nobody else that can touch the game the way she can by just hitting the button. She can tell her fans, show up to this night. This is what I'm going to do. They will show up. This following is growing. It's not getting any smaller. And you got to follow that to the standpoint that now, what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to cash in, right? That's what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't have to be on the court. Angel Reese is going to cash in off the court as well. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can have State Farm says, hey, we're going to do State Farm on this end. But you got Big Shaq with the General. And I'm sitting here going, hey, Shaq, you know what? Angel Reese looked pretty good on the General, right? She'll look good on the General Insurance. And because she has 8 million followers, she's bringing something to the table that they did not have. And that is important. I mean, you got the major brands that's lining up. You got them all right here in front of you. You're embracing being the role model for the fans because now you have the young ladies. Okay, those are in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade who are looking up to Angel Reese. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And when they see Angel Reese go out there and get 20 rebounds or 20 points, do a 20-20, that never will be done. And Angel Reese is a collective brand that has done it the right way, has built it, and has built it from the NCAA, which she lit a fire there and brought the popularity in. She took it to the WNBA and she lit a fire there as the seventh pick, not the number one pick, but the seventh pick in the draft. Angel Reese is the major, if not the sole, responsibility for the growth of the WNBA and the growth of NCAA women's basketball. It was already a great product. It already had a lot of kerosene that had been laid on the ground, but nobody had the match but Angel Reese. All things are possible to those who believe. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by fanatics. We always tell you we're going to get better and better. You go higher and higher. Chicago Sky, Angel Reese, the WNBA growth. You're responsible. We'll see you soon.